with the outcome from court today. We had really hoped for a positive outcome. You were all in court and it was looking positive, but unfortunately this has been the decision of the court, which we must all respect. While we respect the court's decision, we must make it clear that we strongly disagree with the conclusions and the determination made by the court. Accordingly, we have been instructed to appeal this decision as soon as possible. Despite the shock of this ruling or this finding, Blessed remains strong and resolute and remains committed to the cause of press freedom. He is particularly disappointed with the fact that the continued detention will disrupt his current studies at the University of Zimbabwe. The task of placing the appeal before a higher court, hopefully for a better result, starts now. That is the position.
What is your comment on the basis upon which the bill was made?
So for those of you who were in court, you recall that it was a very lengthy ruling. The judgment is yet to be presented to us in its formal format. We will obviously need to study that judgment in great detail and have detailed submissions as to the veracity and strength and acceptability or otherwise of the grounds upon which bail was denied. Obviously, it is on the basis of our interpretation of the ruling that we will formulate the specific grounds of appeal in a higher court. So basically the court found that Blessed, being a senior reporter, has the potential of interfering with his juniors who are deemed to be witnesses in the case.
Then in terms of your appeal, when are you lodging the appeal with the High Court?
For one to launch an appeal in a higher court, you must attach to the appeal the paperwork from a lower court. That is the transcript or the record or the typewritten ruling by the magistrate. We will immediately approach the clerk of court for a copy of the relevant paperwork which will attach to the appeal. So as soon as that paperwork is available to us from the court or the lower court, we'll be able to file that appeal. It is difficult to tell with certainty when exactly that document will be availed to us by the clerk of court. Yes.
I'm blessed that he's asked me to read out on his behalf. He says, I'm a man born of flesh and blood. I suffer from fear and pain. I'm a proud son of a war veteran. I'm a journalist in service of my fellow countrymen. My father did not fight for this. Over the last few days, I have learnt my lesson. I have learnt that freedom is not free. It comes at a cost, at times a painful one. I've learned that free speech, free talk, is not free, and therefore we must never stop at anything to achieve it. It must be achieved in our generation, not the next. It is clear to me that without us acting, we won't achieve anything. So act we must. I will take the lead. Therefore, I've instructed my lawyers to take action. I have learned that justice is a myth. It's only but a tool used by those in power to entrench themselves. At law school, Munyeradzi Kusai told me that you can never understand law fully unless you understand its origins, especially the colonial past. I fully agree, save to add that you will never fully understand it until it's applied to you, unjustly and with impunity by the social elites. There's a mile of difference between writing about injustice and experiencing it. My friends, I now have the benefit of both. Al-Maduku says law is law because it's law, just or unjust. My experience teaches me that an unjust law is no law. It's oppression disguised as law. Dear friends, Prison is meant to break you. It is meant to change you. I have learnt quite to the contrary. Prison makes you stronger and more resolute. I am stronger and I identify with you more than ever before. They say, when you are arrested, you are alone. That's not true. I was never alone. Your voices were with me. I stood proud in the dark hours. My wife and family were with me. I thank you. To those behind my persecution, including a prosecution aiding and abetting injustice, I wish to say the sun will set. It won't last forever. I am and I remain Darabi, blessed Mhlanga.
We have always done, but also we are going to be engaging authorities, as it were, to try and make sure that we make them see set that truly there is no case that Blessed or crime that Blessed committed. What he is doing is exactly what we are doing every day as journalists, and we cannot be criminalized because of practicing that journalism. It's more like someone who says or people who accuse an individual because who is a spirit medium, because a spirit has come on them and expressed some issues that they are not comfortable with, and then you accuse that person. So it's quite unfortunate that this is happening. We hope that Blessed, as you heard from his statement, that he's going to be strong. We are going to continue to be strong with him and look for ways to ensure that we engage with the authority.
And what are your comments with regards to that?
Well, it's quite unfortunate and unfair that we would say that journalists should do the job at their own risk. That issue must not even arise in a democratic dispensation. We must not be talking of issues of violence and harassment of journalists in this day and age. And I think that the employers themselves should also have mechanisms to ensure that the people that they deploy on the ground are people who have safety nets, people who are protected as they are executing their work. I think it is the responsibility of both ourselves as media support organizations and also those that employ the journalists, especially starting with those that employ the journalists, because they deploy their soldiers on the field, and you want to see your soldiers coming back having a victory.